Welcome back to the Palace. I'm your host, Crown Vic. And today's topic will be on, or the topic for this video, will be on my testimony, 7 months of NoFap. 6 or 7, give or take. The last time, I relapsed was back in February, and today is October. And by February, I mean the middle of February, around February 20th. And right now it's October 18th, so it's getting around that time. So, and I say around February 20th because the thing about NoFap and the journey is sometimes you have to trick the mind, and by the mind is your shadow self. Because the shadow self, if you are not aware, it's pretty much your subconscious mind, the one that's really in control of your actions, the one behind your habits, the one behind your routines. And if you are not careful, despite your conscious mind, your unconscious mind will take over and make you relapse. And so to start the NoFap journey, sometimes it's not about, okay, I'm going to start now. Sometimes you just have to start without thinking about it. And then trick the mind by saying the next day I'm gonna, if I can make it through this day, the next day I will, relapse. But then the next day comes and you be like, all right, let me just make it through this day. Then the next day I relapse. And then that's what I mean by tricking the mind. And that's pretty much what I did back in February. And, a few times I relapsed, early February, so I can't really tell you when exactly the journey started, on what specific day, but I can say it's mid-February. Although in March, I would say about sometime in, toward the beginning of March, and by that I'm talking about the 10th through the 15th. Between those time periods of March, I had a series of wet dreams. So that's why I say or think that it's between 6 and 7 months of NoFap. Because some people don't count wet dreams as relapse. They count it only when you like you actually watching something prawn, and I'm censoring the word for YouTube's sake, but you watching, prawn, and you actually do what you make your release. But I'm, for the sake of this video, I'm going to count only, the whole semen retention journey. So since I'm going to count the relapse of wet dreams, I'm going to say 6 months. So I'm entitled actually this video 6 months of the NoFap journey. And this is my testimony, what I experienced. I don't have any notes. So if you're the type of person who wants to listen to a video or podcast or a testimony and me getting to the point, then it's not for you. And if you even made it this far, but I'm going to start the testimony now. 6 months of NoFap. 7 months of NoFap when you include, the wet dreams. But 6 months of NoFap, strictly like NoFap, like semen retention. And so my journey and my experience thus far, I can say directly in my experience with NoFap in general, and I've been practicing this on and off for a number of years before this testimony. And I can say through repeat experience for myself that I experienced, the benefits of NoFap within the first week, especially the second week of NoFap. I will say this: before NoFap, if you constantly watching porn and you're relapsing, in my experience, the feeling of feeling like a shell of yourself is definitely prominent. That's not always the case, because even when I were to relapse, I have a series of still feeling strong, or feeling insecure about myself. Those are instances. But more often than not, if I'm constantly doing that, relapsing, then I feel like a shell of myself. I feel like I can hardly look at people in the eye. I feel like, I can barely hold a conversation. When I am holding a conversation, I feel like, who am I to talk to this person? Why am I talking to this person, or this person talking to me? I feel like I should be invisible. Why am I in this position? I feel like I should crawl into a hole. That's how I feel when I'm constantly relapsing. But when I'm on NoFap, I feel a surge of self-confidence that I can do anything that's presented before me, that I can talk to anybody, anytime, anyway, and I feel no longer a shell of myself, but I feel entirely myself, per se. But that's within the first 2 weeks. In the first 2 weeks, you feel like, okay, well, this journey, I can't believe I haven't done this, and I should continue to do this. How do I keep relapsing if this is how I feel when I'm on the NoFap journey? And I can say that you feel great within after the first week, and then going on into the second week. And I'm saying although I'm saying I'm really speaking for myself, because it affects everyone differently, but this is just my testimony. So I will interchangeably say you or me, but anytime I say you, I'm really talking about myself, my own experience. But within after the first week, going on into the second week, there's this feeling of strength, that I can do all things, as the Bible says in that one scripture. I can't tell you right now off the top, but I can do all things through Him that strengthens me. That's the feeling after the first week, going on to the second week. The third week, still you feel that sense of strength, and maybe even the fourth week. But I can tell you, like myself, in that second month of NoFap. So let's say I started the journey in March, then April comes. The second month is, I still feel that same way, but it's not like, well, I'm gonna feel better about myself in that second month. It's more like I still feel the same way. I still feel good. I still feel capable. I still feel sharp. And that's another thing in my testimony of the NoFap journey. Constantly, relapsing, I sensed a sense of brain fog. And so, like, say for example, someone asks me a question, I kind of feel in a disarray, in answering that question. I can barely think, I can barely function, I can barely find the words to say to respond to this person. However, on NoFap, in the first 2 months, I felt a lot sharper. as if I can respond quickly to anything that's presented before me. And it's almost, I don't want to say mechanical, but it feels natural. It feels like I got a good grip on how to converse with people, to make conversations with people. That's within the first 2 months. Now the third month, this is what I want to get into. The third month of NoFap is when I found my plateau. And by plateau, it's not that I don't mean that, I'm not getting, so like, say for example, the second month where I said that the feeling continued, I don't mean that as in plateau. The feeling did not continue, although that, you could say that that's what it means to plateau, to stop at a certain point. But what I mean by plateau is that although I'm still continuing the NoFap, and I'm not, watching any porn, I'm not doing anything that is different than that I did the first 2 months, but I feel as if I relapsed. Although I didn't relapse, I feel like I did. I'm now, for some reason, I'm not, the confidence that I felt in the first 2 months is no longer there, per se. It's not as bad as it possibly could be if I relapsed, but it's not as strong as it was in the first 2 months. The conversation skills is not as strong. I don't really feel as capable as I did in the first 2 months. Or at least I don't think I do. Because I started to feel, unlike the first 2 months where I felt a sense of, not that I was happy all the time, but I didn't feel bad about myself. And that's another thing when it comes to relapsing. You tend to feel bad about yourself. You're always self-criticizing and saying, like me in my experience, if I were to have a conversation with someone, I would say, oh shit, oh my bad, cursing, oh snap, I shouldn't have said that, or this, that, and the other. I should have said this. I feel bad about myself. And that's the thing about relapsing. But the first 2 months, you don't feel that. You feel like, I said what I said. It is what it is. And I'm going to move beyond that. But that third month, that kind of comes back a little bit. And you almost feel like, dang, is this even worth it? Maybe I should relapse. Because I no longer feel the benefits of this NoFap journey. A lot of people that I see on YouTube that talk about the NoFap journey, they say how powerful they felt in that third month. I don't feel that power. I don't feel motivated to do what they talked about doing. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. What are you talking about? I got off work and I'm still tired and I'm still exhausted. And in the fourth month, so let's say March, and then you got April, May, and then June. So the third month and the fourth month. Now, between the third and fourth month, that's when the urge of relapsing returns. So it's like the dark forces is like trying to reclaim you and trying to bring you back to the relapsing stage. And I'll admit that every now and then I find myself on the edge, teetering on relapsing. But I say this, that if you continue to push forward through that third month, in that fourth month, you start to still feel the surge of inner strength. That it's like an undercurrent. So I would say that in my experience with NoFap, that the benefits is not, right in front of you. It's more like an undercurrent, if you will. It's like almost like a backbone in your everyday life. Something that gives you a bit of a not necessarily a boost. I don't want to say a boost, but it gives you some sort of stability in moving through the world while you're on NoFap beyond the 3rd and 4th month. Like, things that will usually shake and shatter you and break you, it doesn't rattle you as much, because you feel a sense of stability. And that's what I experience even now, 6 to 7 months of NoFap, is I'm moving through the world, and it's still challenging. I still feel tired, so it's not like, I feel the surge of energy all the time. I still feel tired when I go to work, and then I get off work, even if I don't go to work. And I can still, I'll be lying around my home, and then about the afternoon comes, and I want to take a nap. In the first, I say the first month or 2 months, I don't think that was the case, maybe, but definitely now still, I want to take naps. So it's not like I feel the surge of energy all the time, and it makes me want to jump up and bounce off of the walls. It's more like a stability, if you will, a surge of strength that gives you like you are at a certain situation, and someone could potentially bring you down, questioning your motives, questioning your skill, questioning your authority. If you are in a relapsing stage, that would probably shatter you, that would rattle you. But if you're on NoFap and you're beyond the 4th month, you're in the 5th month, 6th month, like I am, it no longer rattles you. Like when I'm talking and communicating with people, I feel a sense of stability. Now, I'm not saying that, I feel like Conor McGregor, or how Conor McGregor projects himself into the world, where I feel like a bad A, I could take on anyone. No, I still feel, like myself, but I feel more confidence in myself, like in the things that I do. If I would say almost like the first month, but not quite like the first month. The first month, you feel that that's the difference, and it feels energizing. And the second month, kind of the same way, but it kind of goes down a little bit. But the 6th month is different than the first 2 months, and it's hard to really put my finger on why, but it's not abrupt in front of you like the first 2 months, where you can see the difference. But the 6 months, it feels more stabilized. Like, it's no longer coming out of nowhere, and you're like, you're wow, this is I can't believe I did that. It's more like, yeah, this is who I am. This is how I function now. You're more like you identify with this inner strength, rather than, oh wow, this is from NoFap. No, in 6 months, this is who you are. And you can like me or you don't like me. And yeah, that's just my testimony on 6 months of NoFap. It's not that I feel like I could talk to anyone. Like, I feel like I can, but I don't just approach strangers. I mean, you can if that's what you want to do, but this is just strictly speaking on NoFap. I'm not talking about mixing it up with other routines like going to the gym, which I do, and taking other, testosterone boosters, which I do. And I also take, what does I take? I take this, this thing. I want to get up and look at it, but I want to get away from this microphone. But basically, it helps your brain, when it comes to brain fog. So I don't know if it's between the pills and also NoFap, but I no longer have brain fog. I'm very sharp. I feel sharp. when I'm speaking and communicating with other people. Yeah, and I feel the confidence. The confidence is real, but it's not necessarily that I became bold. I'm not saying I'm bold, but I'm more self-assured, if that makes any sense. That if someone were to approach me and question me, I'm no longer rattled by that. I have, a sense of stability and self-assurance in myself that whatever I say next is how I feel, and I don't apologize for it.